Earlier I spoke to Bob Baer, a former CIA officer who was once described as the most famous CIA ground agent in the Arab world. I began by asking him why he thought the US sent CIA agents to Libya if the reports are accurate.
Oh, I think it's to collect intelligence. I believe they're already in Libya. I think there's a couple in Benghazi. They've been there a few weeks. And it's simply to sort out the rebels. I mean, who's in control, who's effective, who isn't. This is something that's not known to the State Department. And at this point, the only organization that can send people in and collect intelligence is the CIA.
And is this a way of kind of gearing up to maybe possibly arm the pro-democracy fighters, do you think?
I think absolutely. I think the administration is backed in a corner at this point. There's overwhelming feeling in the United States that Gaddafi has to be removed. And I think this is the first step to a full-fledged covert action program.
There is some confusion, though, isn't there, about whether or not arming pro-democracy fighters will actually be legal. What do you think of this?
Well, it's not permitted by the United Nations, and the United Nations, I doubt, would agree to it. And the Arab League certainly wouldn't agree to it, and this is why it's a covert program. I think the United States is desperately looking for a solution to this. Now that we're committed, we just simply can't walk away or leave it in the middle of a civil war.
It's possible that this could also be political, couldn't it? Because at the end of the day, isn't this simply a way around the fact that the U.S. cannot say it's sending in the military, so instead it's sending in CIA agents, but it's basically achieving the same objectives?
It's absolutely. Look, the people that are going to go in for the CIA are probably going to be ex-military special forces that will have left the military on Friday and joined the CIA on a Monday. They'll be going in, they'll be civilians, but they'll be armed, there'll be military advisors, and you know, they'll probably bring in some Arab forces as well at some level. And it's just a way to protect the presidency, because the president has promised no U.S. troops. You know, anytime a presidency gets in trouble anywhere in the world, it always turns to the CIA and says, do something about it. You know, you go back to Bay of Pigs. You even go into the invasion of Afghanistan. It was the CIA that went in first, supported proxies like the Northern Alliance, and then we're doing the same thing in Libya. The problem is that once you start down this road, you almost inevitably get pulled into a quagmire. It's hard to stop this train.
And you've described the scenario at the moment as a nightmare scenario. Why is this?
It's a nightmare scenario. It's a nightmare scenario because we don't really know who we're fighting. We don't know who the rebels are. We don't know how many militants, Islamic militants there are. We don't know even if Al-Qaeda is there or people. Gaddafi was even at some point calling these people back and saying, you know, fight the foreigners, come back from Afghanistan. We just don't know who it is. In any civil war, we can't sort out the sides, almost inevitably has to end up in a disaster. And it's not just his sons in Gaddafi, it is several tribes that will not break with him. And, you know, we can look at the defection of Musa Kusa, but in the political hierarchy, he's not important.
CIA veteran Bob Baer speaking to me a little earlier on. Well, I'll be back with more news from the Americas later in the program, but now it's back to Doha.